Michael. So this week's Torah portion is Toldot, generation, or history is what they also say, but it means generation. So generations of son. It's generations, and we're going in that that Yitzhak, Isaac is the son of Abraham, and how old he was and where the story was of Bethuel for his wife, because they were together 20 years. Uh, 4 years old, 60. Again, just like but and God gave him a blessing. Now, it may not have been double Rivka. She, of course, had to carry him, and um, between the two, and she went to inquire of God as to what's going on. Why? Which is it? They knew of God, but they were idolaters. They were idols, and yet after has instructed her and relying on God and stuff. We see that same thing with Abraham, right? His servants or the soul. Um, uh, he taught through God, right? And so Isaac is doing the same thing. He's shown her the truth of. Um, we're going to see a little bit difference next week. Um, I'm sorry, Rivka was the sister of Lavan, not the daughter. That's next week. That's anyways. But she's believing her husband, who is out of the house and stuff, who is in charge, asks God. He prays that God would open up her womb. He does, as we see. She has to go struggle going on in her. Tradition says that to the school of Shammai and or no. Okay. Through Shem, God and let her know that there are two nations involved here that are vying for power, and it goes on. They will be two peoples. One of these people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. So she knows of this, right? And pondering in her head, and she knows that the second born, after they're born, uh, Esav comes out first. And it says that he's basically born complete. He's got a beard, he's all over, which means he's red, darker red hair is usually right. And that he basically is already formed in a sense. Not that he's still a baby at the beard. And what's interesting when he was born, was hairy all over too, and he looked like a little funny, but huh? Hair in his ears. Yeah, it was away after a little bit. Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, so he's born complete in that sense, and he's the older. His brother Jacob trying to Jacob and Esau were struggling to who would be born first, and so and then came out second. She knows younger, so the younger was going to carry on uh, the promises of sees here, and Isaac should already know that this is what's going on. Here it says too, um, of the mother being told about her son. We see that with Miriam and Yeshua. God tells him and sends an angel, Gabriel, to explain to her that she's going to, God is going to miraculously, that he is going to take um, Joseph, that God did with Abraham and Isaac, that he did with Joseph and Yeshua. God took DNA from Joseph. No, that they, him and Isaac. So I believe it was with Joseph and Yeshua, because all the different stories that went on. Sarah, that silver and stuff. Oh, that whatever happens is not from me. God made, according to tradition, that he grew up and looked exactly the thing about Yeshua. That is just not going to happen once. It's the stories of her having an affair with or so that and that so Yaakov, Jacob, and Esau are two different. She aspect of what has been told about him. She put it in her heart, and several things. On the 8th, when they were in Jerusalem, 8th day, Shemini Atzeret, because on the 8th day, or any other Sabbath, it's time for the 8th day for the Brit Milah, for the circumcision. What they do, we see with Yeshua that who he was, and blessed him. And it says that she pondered those. Make a way for the Gentiles, that he would be I can't remember what it was called, but that he would, in a sense, but and so she's pondering all this stuff in her heart. Joseph was told to go because he could have divorced her. And in a Jewish wedding, this part is the betrothal. Okay, And then, since once they're betrothed, are married to the degree of that you need a get to divorce, but they don't, they live together. Okay, that comes later. And so he did take her, and he didn't know much about what was going on, but she did, just like Isaac. He knew, he fully understand it. And we find out that he didn't understand until all this took place. I have to send him away. Simeon, Shimon, yeah, Shimon, the prophet. Uh, sees the Hittite women, and she didn't want being married to that because it is so who's not sensitive. It's hard. But when you're for that dividing wall, and also when it talks about where that a husband shall leave it, that God cleaves it means it kind of causes um, not a division or anything, but it's with that we see that two people are trying to become one. If you try and take one and try and unite are one, that in a marriage be friction as the two work on becoming full today like that. Well, the thing is that the idea the husband and wife and husband are each other, uh, work on these differences to and that's why it's important to be married to someone of the same thought process, the same religion in essence. You know, these mixed struggle there, and eventually one of them will relent. Some well and good because they maybe see the error of the ways, and the other one because they're just tired of the fighting. And it's still not good in that sense either. And sometimes maybe not, divorce and stuff. She's thinking about thing. Two, is it not that she Jacob more than her son Esau was that, and so her whole leave Isaac. See, I was reading is that he was going on and he was being providing for himself. He was all these things to do it. But Jacob, or stuff like that. But he wasn't necessarily his name supplanter or whatever, or take basically catches by can mean supplant, but catches by the heel. That he's really a doer. And so her plan have him she intended for him to just. I think she was helping him to endure and to that um, you know, if he curses me, if I'm not Esau, he was going to try to get the blessing. If he does, then the curse will come on me, right? But of course, that never happened. He didn't curse him. But the thing is he had the opportunity to say, let's see, where are we at here? Yeah, right here. He says, went to his father and said, "My father," and he replied, again, like last year, he named him. "Who are you, my son?" He's asking, "Are you my son? Who is this? What are you doing?" He says, Yaakov said to his father, where he can say, "Yes, I am." But all of a sudden, he like, I'm Esau, and kind of instead of just saying who he is, who he really is, he should be. So he begins to deceive him. He didn't. I don't think he intended to deceive him in the first place, but he wasn't sure, and that's why he came together to deceive his father, because that's why he says, the words of Esau came. Her older son told her. She said to him, "To kill you, therefore, my son, listen." On is it here? Yeah. Him. And so we look at that as like the buses, right? That now she's saying it was what you did, and was to, in a sense, go to him and tell him who he was. No, that was actually his plan. Yeah. 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 Well, maybe she, didn't understand quite what he was planning on doing. She knew what he was planning on doing, and she kind of went with that. Yes, I know it looks that way. I'm just saying it's a possibility. It's not that it is, but it's just when we look at it, because, huh? She got him, but she helped him with that, and that's the thing, is that I don't think she intended for that to happen. She was hoping that he was going to step up and do the right thing, I think. You know, and I don't. Mothers have the best intents for their sons, but sometimes when we do things our own way, they can kind of mess things up, right? And that's what happens here. I do believe is that that if he would have just went in and said, "Hey," or if she would have told him about the prophecy, about what was going on, then maybe he would have understood that and followed along too. But apparently she didn't tell him, kept it to herself, and so when the time comes, now what do you do? And stuff. So kind of messed up, right? Just like we see what Abraham and Sarah did with Ishmael, right? Did it by our own thoughts and that type of stuff. Yeah. So, technology. Anyways, so the thing is that again we have a repeating of it. We also see the repeating of and Isaac and Rebekah when Abraham went down to Egypt and to the police team, to the uh, Philistines, again, where he believes he will be killed if he says that she is his wife, right? But I think Abimelech kind of waited a little bit before anything happened to make sure that he was telling the truth. He catches him caressing his wife, probably in a sensual way that only a husband would do with his wife, you know? And so, yeah. So, so again, we see uh, their own things, and it doesn't necessarily do good in that sense. Bless them anyways, even right. Um, with this, we see that uh, Isaac is blessed. He's got the same things his father does, and God comes to Isaac and tells him, you know, that he is the God of his father Abraham, and that I have made all these promises to your father, and I'm putting them on you. As we see, and we're going to see here, is that next week um, that God is going to say the same thing to Jacob, and it's going to be through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that these blessings are going to come in through the descendants of Jacob. And here's a neat thing too, is that Esau, seeing these things happening, his dad is blessing him and telling him, he hears him say, don't take any wives from the Canaanite women. And that's when he realizes that his own wives have not pleased him, have not pleased his father. Okay? And so what does he do? He goes to Ishmael, his uncle, and marries his cousin, Mahalat, who basically, you know, they did know about God, and he was Abraham's son also, and so forth. And so he thought that would be kind of an appeasement, okay? And I think that that God did look at that it was kind of a repentant. God did bless Esau and his descendants for a portion there until we see that when it came to Egypt, a lot of different things that happened. What we see is that, again, when we try and hurry up God, when we try and rush God in the things that he wants to do with us, in general, then we are stuck with the consequences. Okay? And the consequence of this is because she didn't say anything to Isaac about the prophecy, and then instead of just sending him in there and saying, hey, this is what it's supposed to be, both of them should have gone into together a time ago. Maybe this happened. But because of the deception that ended up happening, she loses. Remember, she doesn't want to lose the same day, right? But instead, she does lose her. So that while he's gone, Rebecca. Okay, so sometimes we have to learn to live with those results. Be accountable for what we do. That's why it's so important that when God is telling us to do something, not to try and do it our own way, just wait on his time. His time is perfect. His timing His timing will be the way we need to do it. And in so doing, we would have eliminated all these other aspects about Ishmael and the fighting that goes on today, Esau and the fighting that is also going on today with the spirit of Esau, the spirit of Amalek, etc. And there wouldn't be those things. Maybe the world would have changed for the better even, we don't know. But these are all still God's plan. Even though we might mess them up, he can still use what's been done to come out good, and he did. Yeshua came through Jacob. And Miriam didn't try and go out and get pregnant by somebody else, She believed God and listened to him, just like Elisheva, Elizabeth, her cousin, and Zechariah. They believed that that's when he. And she's 6 months pregnant, and Miriam is 3 months pregnant. They get together, and as in Elizabeth's belly, like and stuff at when they get together. So he didn't train them up the way he should have, and they were, they were doing the things that take, not following direction, and finally God had to step in, and that's where Samuel came about, do the things he was supposed to. So God called somebody else that would. That was David. But let's not be that other person. Let's be the first one who God calls, And in this life, we already stress and stuff going on, we need to add to it. Trying to think. We need to sometimes just step out of the way of God. Parents love their kids. We've seen that. I love my kids. And they sent the spies. God allowed it to happen. As we read later on in Deuteronomy, God did that. And a bad report, 10, the number for judgment. And Israel wasn't allowed to go into it, not before. And then, of course, as God told us, study my word day and night, be successful, because then we get to know his plan. We get to understand stuff, because we see a small picture, but God sees the huge picture, and we only see the small one, so we don't understand. Just need to trust him. Let him do that. So bow your heads for the priest. Our God and God of our fathers, bless us with the threefold blessing in the Torah written by the hand of Moses, your servant, and pronounced by Aaron and his sons, the priests, your holy people, as it is said. May the Lord bless you and protect you. Maybe you will. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. Maybe you will. May the Lord turn his face towards you and grant you peace. Maybe you will. Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha.